Hey guys, so I'm about to do something a little bit different and it's gonna be drawing my life story. So I draw my life and you guys just watch me draw. So on January 25th, 1994, I was born on this day in National City, California. I could say, you could say I'm Aquarius though, but I don't like water. Besides that, here's my mom, and she actually gave birth to me when she was about her mid 40s or late 40s, and here I am. And then unfortunately, I was about to die, honestly, because there was an umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and I couldn't breathe and I wasn't crying. Therefore, they called me a miracle baby. After 20 minutes, I started to cry. Technically, while growing up, I didn't live at my house. I was actually living at my auntie's house. So my auntie was in there a lot, and my uncle was in there a lot, and my grandma was the one who took care of me the most. So here's a picture of my dad and my mom, and they were just really busy for me, and that's kind of why they sent me to my auntie's house. They always took care of their patient, and they were just never around, which kind of made me really sad. So once I hit third grade, I was actually living on my own now. My grandma had her job and was too busy to take care of me. So technically I had the key of my auntie's house at a very young age. It was kind of weird. So since I was a third grader, I was very young. I don't know what age that would be. Probably like a 6-year old or 7, 8. So I would technically wake up every morning alone and had to make my own breakfast, get myself ready for school, and just go outside and lock my auntie's house and then walk over to the bus stop where I waited for my school bus to pick me up. And that was pretty much my every routine, and it kind of sucks. Since I was alone and everything, I would always go to the mirror when I was little, and I always look at the mirror and tell myself that today's gonna be a good day and I'm gonna survive, and this is what I call survival. I try to get the day going and just forget everything else and keep fake smiling. So once I got into elementary school, I was actually not really proud of it. I was also constantly picked on, and everyone would just hate me and just made fun of me and just laugh. And it didn't really make me really happy. By then, I actually tried to laugh with them because I didn't want to be lonely, and I hoped that they would change and become my friends. But you should already know, and that didn't really work out for me. So it kind of was kind of a bummer for me in a way. I kind of wish that they did become my friend. So in the end of it all, I actually moved back to National City and I started to live with my parents again. However, my parents were still busy for me, and in order for me to not do anything weird or dumb, they bought me a PlayStation along with a Nintendo, and that was honestly my way to get away from all the bullies and everything else, and it kind of made me really happy to go home right away. In order for time to pass by, I actually had this one game that I loved the most, and that would be Ocarina of Time. Like everyone knows, Zelda. Zelda was like one of the best games for Nintendo back then, and I still love it till this day. So going back to elementary school, I remember this day so clearly that my friends, or what I did call my friends, were actually beating me up, and they kind of stole something really precious to me, which was actually a necklace that my grandma gave to me. And I didn't want to tell anyone else about it, or to my parents or to the teachers, because I didn't want to lose them as my friends or them to hate me. By the time I got into high school, I started becoming more of a flirt in a way. So the reason why I wanted to be a flirt was to actually try to get a girlfriend, because after having a girlfriend, I felt like I was happy and I had someone in my life, or that's what I would thought of. And that's what I pretty much did throughout my high school year. So technically, you know what would happen from there. If guys see you talking to several girls, or everyone see you talking to several girls, they're gonna be calling you a cheater or a player. And I wasn't really doing that, as I was just very lonely. I mean, I get why they called me a cheater and player and everything else, but I was honestly never cheating on them or trying to play them, and that was basically me moving on really fast because every girl I was with actually cheated on me or left me with another guy, so kind of made me very, very lonely and irritated. From that point on, I started being more social with life. People would call me popular before in high school and everything else, and I would have never considered myself popular. I was just trying to make more friends and connect to a lot of people from different high school so I wouldn't have to be lonely, and that's what I did. By the time I reached sophomore year, I began to be more sad about myself and about life, and I just was going downhill. I remember going to my dad's car while he was picking me up and finding out a bad news that my brother was murdered, and it kind of gave me a toll on my life. So by the time I graduated high school, I thought everything was gonna be alright now. Like, I get to go to college and no one is there that would know me that much to spread rumors about me. And I thought life was going to get great, but it actually didn't. And it didn't get great because my parents told me, and people told me, that I'm not gonna go anywhere in life, that I'm worthless, I'm useless, I'm not gonna be great. And I kind of got furious about it, and I was really angry about myself and life, and I just didn't know what to do. So I was just like on my knees already, like I didn't know what to do with my life, and I was just hurt. On May 13, 2013, I was so furious that I went to the recruiter's office and signed up for the hardest branch, which was the United States Marine Corps. I was just frustrated and I just wanted to prove everyone wrong, and so I did. And of course, I went through boot camp and I graduated and finally got to call myself a Marine. And basically, of course, as Filipino parents, they would just brag about myself. And here's my arm. It was kind of like deformed and everything else, and it kind of looked weird, but yeah, hoorah. So after completing boot camp, I was actually still sad. From boot camp, I went over to Marine Corps combat training, and I went over to North Carolina, where my school is. While in North Carolina, I was at my very lowest point already. I wasn't happy with myself and I didn't know what to do. And this is part where I tried to kill myself, and I was actually sent to the ER. And it was just really rough for me, and I was just really sad. So after getting some medication for my depression, I actually had to go through therapy, and I met this priest. I wish I remember his name because he was actually my turning point of my life. He made me realize so many stuff about myself that made me really cry really hard, and I just was amazed that I've been doing everything for the wrong reason, and I wasn't actually doing it for myself but for others. And then I told myself I got this, and then life started to change. So yeah, life started to change. I started getting into fitness because one of my classmates in North Carolina actually introduced me to fitness, and I kind of started loving it, and I become more positive and open-minded, and I started seeing improvement and being really happy, and I just kept going with it and kept getting bigger and everything else. By then, I was sponsored by Lip Squad Apparel, which is my best family ever, and just kept on moving up and up. From that point on, I started vlogging more and making more YouTube videos, which is one of this right here. And I started getting more subscribers. People are starting to follow me, and I started to compete, and I actually got second place for my first competition ever in INBA, which is all natural bodybuilding. And then I also went to Vegas and won a medal for second place, and it was really, really motivating for myself, and I just kept on improving. from that point on, I met up with a mentor, and he told me about Toastmaster, and pretty much I'm trying to improve my public speaking, and so I could talk to 1,000 people or more, and then I'm just growing and growing and growing. And then pretty soon my parents were actually seeing improvement of me and starting to be more happy with me. And that's pretty much it, guys. And this is my Instagram right here and Facebook, SterbenLyfe. I really hope you guys did enjoy it. And if you did, please give me a subscribe and give me a thumbs up.